You had this kind of famous exchange with him. I think it was 2018 at Politicon, and it got super heated and bitter. And it was like, I don't know, things were viral in 2018, but it was viral. And then you came back to a TP USA event, and I was amazed and impressed, both that he invited you and that you came. And you still disagreed on some things, but it was, I mean, the tone was completely different. Can you explain that? And better and great, I thought.
Yeah. So first of all, in 2018, that was the Politicon that I debated you.
Okay.
And
Sorry. We got along pretty well, as I remember.
we did. And Charlie was debating my nephew Hassan,
Okay.
Hassan Piker, but I couldn't help myself because that's who I am. And in the middle of their debate, I said something to Charlie when I wasn't on stage. I was in the crowd, and he yelled at me, "I live like a capitalist every day, Cenk." And then by the way, some people then thought that it was a racial slur. No, that was just my name. He was just slightly mispronouncing it. So then actually something happened in between that moment and Turning Point USA, America Fest. So we were at the RNC in 2024, and Charlie came by at our booth and said, "Hey, do you guys want to talk?" And we were a little bit taken aback by that. We were really surprised by it. And Anna and I, Anna Kasparian is my co-host on the Young Turks,
Yes.
talked it over and said, yeah, we would like to talk. And so he came on the show, and so we had our disagreements. So it's interesting that you have me on here, partly for the reasons that, your friend texted you about. Oh, well, that's strange, right? Left and right. And so I don't agree with everything that you, Megyn, and Scott said about Charlie.
I'm sure.
Right. But I think that's what makes it more interesting. So the willingness to talk to us, even though we were so entrenched on different sides, right? And so then when we started the conversation, what wound up happening surprised us. So did we still have our disagreements about the black pilot line, this, that, and other thing? Of course we did, right? But when we started talking about corporate rule, he agreed. And I remember, I want to go back and watch the first interview we did with him at the RNC there, because I was kind of shocked by it. It's like, really? You're also worried about corporations having too much power and right? Because Tucker, you can understand that was a left-wing position for a long time in this country.
It was.
But the battle has been joined. And so that is an incredible development in American politics that mainstream media, I think, has chosen to ignore because it's inconvenient for them. Then we got into a specific topic, which was banning private equity from buying residential real estate. And the idea behind that is private equity is the biggest bankers in the world, basically. They're the biggest financial institutions. And they've started to buy all of our homes. Now, that creates a huge number of problems. Number one, it drives up housing prices. That is why they are artificially high, because so much more demand has come into the market. And I went to Wharton Business School, so this is not complicated, though. This is Econ 101, supply and demand, right? And so, secondly, the number one wealth creation asset that the American family has is their homes. That is how we created the greatest middle class the world has ever seen. And they're taking that from us. And they're going to turn us all into renters. And then we're going to be indentured servants to them, okay? And the way that they are doing this is they are giving collectively billions of dollars to our politicians. So this issue connects, actually, the money and politics issue connects to everything. Connects to corporate rule, it connects to capitalism, by the way, which I want to get back to, connects to Israel, because it isn't about Israel or any other particular lobby being evil or dastardly or in charge. It's the money that's in charge. And so if Big Pharma, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, et cetera, give money to our politicians, well, then they pass absurd laws like we're not allowed to negotiate drug prices.
Right.
What in the world? In capitalism, you're not allowed to negotiate prices, right?
I know.
So, and we talked about that, and he said, "You're right. That is absurd." And we on the right already believe that it's absurd and that it's against capitalism. Fantastic. So, look, you're right. We've been around a long time on the Young Turks. We were actually the longest running show in internet history. And in that time, we've been on for 23 years. We've had about 21 to 22 years of hardened battle, right? Fighting back and forth, right? And as anybody who's seen me online knows, I can get emotional. I can get passionate.
Yeah.
And I'm not a wilting flower. I fight back for sure, right? So what was amazing, though, was all of a sudden I didn't have to fight back. That on those issues, not every issue, and not on all the culture wars, but on these economic issues, we have begun to agree. And why? Because the average guy is getting screwed.
Yes.
Period. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right. You're both going to get screwed. You're both going to have higher housing prices. You're both going to have lower wages. You're both going to have higher drug prices. And the people that brought you that is the donor class. And so when we agreed to that, then I said, okay, well, now conversation has become productive. We're not just yelling at each other. For the first time ever, we are talking to one another, and more importantly, we are listening to one another. So we did it again at the DNC, and then Charlie invited me to America Fest. And I went there, and again, we disagreed on gun rights, we disagreed on some trans issues, but we wound up agreeing on Dick Cheney and Mitch McConnell, for example. Yeah. Neither one of us like them, like either one of them.
I agree.
And, Tucker, I'll say this, and there's a lot more to talk about in that context, but if you told me you are going to go to a massive right-wing conference in the year 2025, and what's going to happen is the crowd in unison is going to boo Dick Cheney. If you told me that when we first started the Young Turks and we're railing against Dick Cheney, don't go into Iraq, don't go into Iraq, Cheney's lying, right? And people are yelling back, support the troops, you're for Saddam and all this stuff. If you told me, oh, don't worry, in 20 some odd years, that crowd will be booing Dick Cheney. And that crowd will be booing Mitch McConnell because they realize that the corporate class, the donor class is in charge, and they hate it. I would have said, oh my God, that must be a beautiful day in America.
Well, so this is what I admire about you. You're totally sincere about your principles. Like you almost don't care who's agreeing with you. You believe in the idea, the principle. So you're willing to make common cause with people you don't agree with on everything. You're not partisan. And the second thing I just want to say it out loud is that Young Turks, whatever you think of your politics, has had a stated commitment to nonviolence from the very beginning, and you mean it. And I just want to say that for people who don't know that, and I want to thank you for that because I think it's really important. And anyway, but so let me ask you, how were you treated at AmFest, at Charlie's event?
Yeah. By the way, thank you for saying that, Tucker. And the principle of nonviolence extends through everything. So do not be violent to each other. Violence is intellectual surrender. That's saying I can't win the debate with my mind, so I have to act like an animal and try to defeat that person physically. But that means you're surrendering and you're giving up. It's the most immoral thing you could do. It's also the weakest thing you could do.
Yes, I agree.
But that's on not just on an individual level. That's also on a societal level. So when we go to war, that is in a sense weakness. Saying we could not use our minds to resolve this issue. We could not resolve this issue as fellow human beings. So now we're going to kill each other. Yes. So that is why we're anti-war, and that is why one of the most encouraging developments of my life is how anti-war the right-wing movement has become. So that another great day in America. So it's still plenty of things we disagree on.
Yes.
But agreeing on anti-war, agreeing on how the donor class is robbing both of us blind. I mean, those are huge developments, right? So now, how was I treated at AmFest? I've got to be honest with you. And so the reason why I preface it by saying I got to be honest with you is because sometimes when we go and talk to the right wing, and as you said, we haven't moved on a thing, right? So folks come to us, and I have a simple principle: take the win. Okay.
Take the win. Exactly.
Like, so, okay, now you agree with me that anti-war is the right position. Is my correct answer that I still hate you? No, that is not the correct answer.
Right.
The correct answer is, oh, thank God. All right,
Exactly.
great. Right. And now we'll work on the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. But for now, at least we had no agreements before. Now we have a number of really important agreements. So, but nevertheless, I had my share of critics on the left. You're platforming it.
Yeah.
I went to his conference. I wasn't platforming him. He was platforming me. Right.
Yeah.
And second of all, stop with all the nonsense talk of platforming people. Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Just listen to one another, talk to one another. That's not a bad thing. That's a good thing. Oh, but what if you disagree? And of course you're going to disagree. It's America. We're free. We have no two human beings are the same. Of course we're going to disagree on some issues. So if you can't handle that, then you can't handle politics, you can't handle media, you can't handle America, right? So, okay, so with that giant preface, I'll say the people there, honestly, were universally wonderful. So they were. And so you could say, oh, well, haha, that means Jenkson with the right wing. No, I'm just telling you what happened. If they were jerks, I would tell you that they were jerks, but they weren't. Okay. And I've got to say, like, this cancel culture, it's not exclusively left wing.
No, I know. Tell me about it. I mean, the efforts that some people made to keep me from speaking at the next TPUSA thing, people I agree with on a lot of things, by the way. I don't disagree with Seth Dillon and everything, Mr. Free Speech guy trying to cancel me. But I was like shocked by it. Like they really hassled Charlie and just drove him to, to really fret and drove him to anxiety over this. Oh, no. That impulse is a human impulse, and we need to resist it.
Yeah, so I love what you guys said about hate speech and how it's unacceptable to pass laws on that.
It's not acceptable.
Yeah, under no circumstances. So, and this is what I say on that topic. So, Charlie says some things about Islam that, having grown up Muslim, I'm atheist now, but my family's Muslim, my background's Muslim, I'm proud of it. He said some things about Islam that I was not a fan of, right? To say the least.
I bet.
So you know what I did in return? I made my case. So what? Right? Like why is it so like debilitating if someone says something that you find offensive? I've said things that I'm sure others have found offensive. You have, Charlie has, Megyn has. So what? Then you say something back. Okay? We don't cancel, we don't kill, and killing is the most extreme form of cancel culture. So I despise cancel culture, and I have the honor of having been canceled by almost every part of the political spectrum.
I know. So, man, that was really inspiring. And I'm going to text back the person who texted me and say, "Did you watch that?" That was wonderful, and I so appreciate you're doing this. Thank you, and I hope you don't take too much abuse for it. And I'm sure you will, but I guess you don't care. So good for you. Thank you.
That'll bounce off me so quick. I'll just say this one last thing, Tucker. Yes. I mean, the idea of making laws against hate speech in honor of Charlie Kirk.
No, I know.
Okay, that's like if I passed away and they're like, in honor of Cenk, we're all going to go on a diet.
Tell me about it. Or the Tucker Carlson no pizza law. No, I agree. I agree.
Come on. That is the opposite of what I've did in my life. And regulating speech is the opposite of what Charlie did in his life. So let's all keep talking to one another. Let's all keep listening to one another and hopefully use this moment not to create further tragedy, but to begin to end the tragedies.
Yeah, I'm proud to agree with that, really, really strongly. So thank you for saying it very much.